So let's get this party started. This episode of Grand Adventure is sponsored by eTrailer.com, where you'll find thousands of products for RVing, towing, camping, outdoor recreation, vehicles, boating, and more. Use the link down below in the video description to shop eTrailer with Grand Adventure. After 5 months sitting stationary in an RV park in Utah for the winter, we're pulling out a day early to begin our 5-day crossing of the United States all the way to Pennsylvania. They're predicting on and off light snowfall across Wyoming for the next 5 days, enough to slicken the roads, and we'd like to stay ahead of that and reach Cheyenne today, east of the winter weather zone, but it's going to require 458 miles of towing to get there. By avoiding the winter weather, however, we're going to have to endure windy conditions instead, with gusts predicted to exceed 55 miles per hour today. Still, I'd rather deal with the wind than towing on a snowy and icy Interstate 80. Mrs. Grand Adventure opted to bring her car along this season rather than store it in Utah. She's not really good at sticking to my tail, however, and it isn't long before we're each driving this route independently. Although much of Interstate 80 across Wyoming sits at elevations above 7,000 feet, there are 2 prominent heights of land where the incoming winter weather is of particular concern. This is the first of these, where the highway skirts the northern fringe of the Snowy Range, passing by Elk Mountain to a height of 7,781 feet above sea level. Much of the snow on the ground that we're witnessing today fell last night. So today is truly a very narrow weather window for us to cross Wyoming safely. However, this is also where today's winds are intensifying. East of Laramie, the interstate ascends Sherman Hill through Telephone Canyon. The summit between Laramie and Cheyenne, elevation 8,640 feet, is the highest point on the transcontinental I-80 route, and is also an area plagued by today's winds. I've arrived at our overnight destination, Laramie County Fair RV Park, ahead of Mrs. Grand Adventure, so I'm going to set up camp while I await her arrival. We're paying $35 here for a night on electrical hookups on a grassy site. They also offer water and electric sites for $40 per night, but they haven't turned the water back on for the season yet. It's a peaceful spot, just far enough back from Interstate 80 to eliminate nearly all of the highway noise. Mrs. Grand Adventure has still not arrived, so I've doubled back up the mountain between Cheyenne and Laramie to search for her. Uh-oh. I don't think this is how our road trip was supposed to start. Mrs. Grand Adventure's car is shredded at Serpentine Belt, replaced only 2 years and 20,000 miles ago. We're fortunate that the owner of Axle Motors Auto Repair has dropped everything he was doing to get us back on the road. Now, on the morning of our second drive day, I see from the weather radar that we made the right decision to get east of Laramie yesterday, for it's currently snowing along I-80 near Elk Mountain. Today, however, is our shortest drive day, a quick 3 hours to see friends in North Platte, Nebraska. That winter weather back in Wyoming is merely rain here at lower elevations. Our regular Grand Adventurers have already met our friends Kent and Katie, who live in North Platte and raise champion Dalmatians. And for anyone traveling through North Platte in need of mobile RV repair, you won't find a more honest and capable repairman than Kent. For our stay in North Platte, we've returned again to Pal's Brewing Company, a harvest host located right on the outskirts of town. We've never encountered a host more committed to the program, for Pal's purchased an adjoining field to carve out dry campsites for Harvest Host members. In addition to a large brewing facility, guests will find here a substantial restaurant and tap room, where we enjoyed tasty baked Wisconsin cheese curds, a fine handmade pizza, a few delicious hazy IPAs, and the warm companionship of our friends. When we come back, following a quick ad break to pay the bills, we'll head out on day 3 of our cross-country RV road trip. So stay tuned. It takes just as long to cross Nebraska as it does to traverse Wyoming. We have a healthy day today, another 405 miles to tow our fifth wheel from North Platte to Des Moines, Iowa. In this episode, we're breaking nearly all of the RV travel rules that we just proposed in our episode 355. However, we're just trying to get to the northeastern U.S. where our actual 2024 camping and travel season will truly begin. Once there, we'll be slowing down, spending an average a week in each destination. And our moves between destinations will become much, much shorter. You would think that by now we'd be getting a break from the ferocious winds, but you would be wrong. We've got southerly crosswinds today reaching 35 to 40 miles per hour, wreaking havoc upon both my nerves and my fuel mileage. The landscape is quickly changing from brown to green as we continue our eastward trek. Omaha is the first truly urban area that we encounter on this drive, although the city is easy to tow through as far as urban centers go. On the east side of Omaha, we cross the Missouri River into Iowa. We're spending the night at Living History Farms, another harvest host in Urbandale, a suburb of Des Moines. This green 500-acre oasis, surrounded by the hubbub of suburbia, is an open-air museum to demonstrate the past 300 years of Iowa's agricultural history. It's truly unfortunate that we've arrived past the museum's closing time. It will be departing before they open in the morning for another long drive day, so we will most certainly need to return. Their large open parking lots provide a comfortable spot to lot dock for the night. They're predicting some rather spicy thunderstorms to accompany the arrival of a sharp cold front just before sunrise. Sure enough, awakening at 4 a.m., I spot a rather strong line of storms approaching on radar. None, however, are demonstrating large hail or tornadic tendencies, and I fall back asleep as buckets of rain wash over our campsite. Behind the front, the morning dawns cold and gray. The wind, however, is already on the increase. We'll have another challenging day of driving ahead. Today's goal is Elkhart, Indiana. Behind the front, we actually have a tailwind for once. But only an hour into our drive, we overtake the cold front, and back on the warm side of the front, the winds are once again out of the south and are intense and gusty. This is going to be another two hands on the wheel kind of day. Right beside the highway in Walcott, Iowa, just west of Davenport, sits the Iowa 80 truck stop, which bills itself as the largest truck stop in the world. In addition to its adjacent trucking museum, those that pull off I-80 in Walcott will find a large retail store and food court with numerous fast food outlets. Need an adjustment from sitting behind the steering wheel for too long? There's a chiropractor here on site. Got a toothache? There's a dentist here too. You can also get a haircut, take a shower, or wash your dog. Iowa 80 Truck Stop hasn't closed for a single day since it first opened here 60 years ago. Not long after leaving Iowa 80 Truck Stop, just ahead is our crossing of the mighty Mississippi River. For me, that marks the transition from west to east, where we'll be spending the vast majority of our 2024 grand adventure. Going from the land of Carl's Jr. to the land of Hardee's. Crossing over from the land of Best Foods to the land of Hellmann's. Crossing Illinois on I-80 is relatively uneventful, at least until you approach Joliet. However, I'm here to tell you that I-80 through Joliet is hands down the worst stretch of highway that I've ever been forced to drive. Give me 1,000-foot drop-offs of Colorado's million-dollar highway any day over the sharp transitions, narrow lanes, suspension destroying potholes and pavement gaps, and crazy traffic through Joliet. I swear that it probably has random landmines too. And once you make it through, the Illinois tollway skirting the south side of Chicago isn't much better. You'll have to forgive me if I had both hands super glued to the steering wheel and couldn't film that nightmare for you. I'm still suffering from the PTSD. We're spending the night of our fourth drive day at yet another Harvest Host, the RV Hall of Fame and Museum in Elkhart, deep in northeastern Indiana's Amish country, where a gargantuan parking lot ensures lots of space away from the numerous other RVers overnighting here tonight. Once again, we've arrived after the museum's closing, and will depart tomorrow before it reopens. However, if you'd like to tour inside the RV Hall of Fame and Museum, check out our episode 274, which we'll link to right here on the screen. Our lot docking spot tonight is right next door to the world headquarters for the RV supplier Lippert. You'll find all sorts of products from Lippert, Dometic, and other RV equipment manufacturers at the home of our video sponsor, eTrailer.com. One such item is the Dometic 320 toilet, which we've installed in our own RV to replace the toilet installed by our RV's manufacturer. If you're looking to replace or upgrade your toilet, you need look no further than the 320 from Dometic. This sturdy residential-style toilet features an elongated ceramic bowl, a solid wooden seat and lid with dampened closure, and an effective rinsing action that dispenses swirling water from all sides of the bowl's rim, which nevertheless uses only 1 pint of water per flush. Replacing your existing toilet requires nothing more than fitting 2 bolts to your existing toilet flange. You'll find a link down below in the video description to shop the Dometic 320 toilet at eTrailer.com. While we're here in Elkhart, I have some news to share with the substantial Zoe fan club here at Grand Adventure. You may recall that late last summer, Zoe was diagnosed with adult onset diabetes. We've finally gotten her blood glucose under control, with a total of 40 units of dog insulin per day, but not before the disease has taken her eyesight at the relatively young age of 9 years. Zoe absolutely lives to retrieve a tennis ball. Anyone who's ever met her knows this all too well. But a few months ago, we noticed that she was sometimes losing sight of the ball when we would throw it, something that would never have occurred in the past. The cataracts have since progressed quickly to the point that she can now barely see at all. This absolutely breaks our hearts. And I don't know if we'll be able to continue bringing Zoe on hikes and otherwise enjoying many of the things that we used to do with her. But we don't love her any less, and we'll do everything within our power to make her remaining years, of which we hope there will be many, pleasant and enjoyable. After settling in for the night here in Elkhart, the cold front crossing the U.S. with us has once again reached our trailer's doorstep, with lots of lightning and buckets of rain. But thankfully, once again, without any severe weather. To be honest, tornadoes scare the daylights out of me. Hurricanes you can predict, but tornadoes seem to spring up with little to no warning. I'll fall asleep to the steady sound of the rain on the trailer's roof. The morning has once again dawned cloudy behind the front. This time, however, it's not as cold as the air mass has lost some of its chill traversing the continent. On into Ohio, the Ohio Turnpike isn't much cheaper than the Indiana Toll Road. Truck and trailer today will cost $33 to cross 211 miles of Ohio. Fortunately for us, we've only spent $35 on overnight accommodations this trip. After I-90 splits from the Ohio Turnpike, it travels right through the heart of Cleveland. We'd be breaking another one of our self-imposed travel rules here, were it not for the fact that today is a Sunday morning. As we finally enter our first destination state, we've once again traveled past the cold front. It's muggy out in front of it, as I'm reminded of the eastern humidity that we've avoided as Utah residents for the past 20 years or so. This little corner of Pennsylvania is tiny, so it's not long before we roll into the city of Erie, our first destination on the Grand Adventure Northeastern Tour 2024. So now we're all set up here in a beautiful campground in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is the start of 7 full months of RV travel that we're going to be bringing you along on. And into September, we're going to be spending that entire time in the northeastern US and in eastern Canada. So if you're not yet a Grand Adventurer, there is no better time than now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a Grand Adventure, which we premiere every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. If you like this episode, it is extremely important to us that you give us a big thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section where we'd love to hear from you after every Grand Adventure. So until next Wednesday, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.